Hey guys, my name's Luke and today I'm going to be drawing this guy right here, so stick around.
Alright, welcome back everybody. In today's episode, I'm not going to be drawing Boba Fett and X-Men's Rogue. I'm going to be coloring them. I've already drawn them off camera. I actually did it on my break at work throughout the whole week. And I'm just going to be coloring them in. So you can see me here, I'm already starting with Boba Fett. As for drawing him, it was fun. I like drawing characters with a lot of plating and a lot of armor and a lot of pouches and a lot of weird stuff. And the whole Star Wars bounty hunter motif carries a lot of really interesting design for each bounty hunter. If you've ever read any of the books or extended universe books, there's a lot of interesting characters in there, and they all have very interesting, very cool looking armor. So I'm going to go in with a dark green here and just kind of lay down some foundations. I'm using a reference because Boba Fett has gone through many different color palettes, I guess you would say, and he's also gone through many different styles in terms of which colors they use and the hues of those colors and the layouts of those colors. So I'm just throwing in some basic darks here, and then I'm going to go in a little bit with my lights a little bit later on. The reason I decided to do this was to showcase some coloring. I've gotten to the point now where I'm a little bit more confident in my coloring. I'm not exactly 100% right now, but it's better than it was maybe when I started recording these videos. So I enjoyed coloring this, and it turned out a lot better than I expected. Now, as for coloring different types of things, I enjoy coloring metals and stuff like that because the high reflectivity means that it's very simple to draw a hard shadow and then a light side and then a very bright, I guess you would call that ambient lighting wrapping around the helmet or wrapping around the metallic plate, whatever it might be. I never knew this when I was drawing Boba Fett. I had to look up a reference to draw him, and I realized he has a cape, a blue cape, and I did not know that. I find that pretty cool. Capes, I don't know what the purpose of them is. I guess if they live in desert planets, it's to prevent the machinery from getting all rusted and sandy. So it makes sense in a certain way. You can kind of see me here taking my time and coloring everything through. As for the drawing itself, it took quite a while, maybe half an hour each drawing. X-Men's Rogue, I like that drawing, but I'm not as happy with it as I am with this one. This one was definitely a lot cooler looking, a lot easier to do, and a lot funner as well. And we will get to the X-Men one in a little bit. Now, I'm a big Star Wars guy. I just had a birthday, and my wife's uncle got me a Star Wars origami book, so can't wait to do that. And can't wait for the new movies. Very excited. It's a good time to be alive. Dragon Ball Z is coming back. Star Wars is coming back. Sailor Moon is back. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. I even heard that Digimon might come back, and some people like it, some people hate it. I like it, so I am all for that. You can kind of see me here trying to stick with a specific color palette and motif. I'm trying to keep all the... When I color things in, if it's something that I can take a little bit of liberty with, I will take that liberty. And I will color things in and separate them. So you can kind of see me here. I like to keep the light grays very separate from where the dark grays will go. This way, it doesn't look like everything runs together. It looks like everything has a specific purpose and everything is separate. And I kind of like that. I also spaced out the yellows on his suit, spaced out the greens as much as possible, and even the blues. And when we get into the reds, those will also be spaced out nicely. Try to keep everything consistent. Try to keep a repeating pattern, a repeating motif of different colors. I understand the helmet isn't exactly the way it is in the movies. I don't really care. I'm not going for exactness. This is my take on Boba Fett. And if it's not accurate to what the movies or whatever are, I'm not that kind of guy who will sit there and say, well, the helmet should have an indent and it should be 2 prongs on the forearm and not 3. I don't know. I don't care. I just go for whatever looks cool and whatever makes me think about Boba Fett when I think about him. Now as for the background, you kind of see all those horizontal lines in the background. I did that for both Boba Fett and Rogue from the X-Men. And I'll be coloring them in with a dark color that is taken from the palette of whatever my drawing is. So I'm going to pick a dark color from my palette here, and I'm going to accent that color in the background to make sure that my character pops even more, make sure that everything is organic and flows together nicely. Sorry, my chair is squeaky. And make sure that everything rounds out nicely. Sorry, my cat is also going crazy right now. She won't stop meowing. It's annoying. So if you hear that, I swear I'm not abusing her. She's just crazy right now. It's a morning. She's nuts. Anyway, so here I'm going in, and this green, as I put it down, I realized it doesn't really flow with what I like. So I'm going to try to come in a little bit later and fix it by adding a mid-tone green to it and try to blend it out and see if that helps it out. I just added the reds and the light reds, or that reddish orange, and I need to make sure that I add some dark hues on the yellows, so that's what I'm coming in to do. And I kind of like the way these two things blended together, so I decided to use that same kind of tan marker and accent a little bit more on some of the other colors that are in the background, some of the pouches, give them more of a leathery look, and just kind of go from there. Again, when you're coloring stuff, it's always good to experiment. You won't find out how colors blend together, and you won't know how things look together and feel together until you try it. So even if you mess up a drawing, the information you gather from doing so is sometimes worth the sacrifice of having to let go of a drawing, or having to say, oh, this drawing is really messed up, I shouldn't have done that. I always think that the information outweighs the cost, but that's just me, and my education have kind of steered me in that direction. So that's where we are right now. You kind of see me here throwing in some more of that light green on the other side where the reflected light will come in. That's just so that when I put in the jelly roller, it will pick up some of that light green and kind of accent it even more. Now I'm coming in with that mid-tone that I talked about, and I'm going to try to kind of smooth out the transition a little bit and give it more of a rough feel. And here, at this point, I'm going to come in with this very dark brown and kind of accent all the shadowy areas of the pants and whatever texture or whatever they're made of. That's also the same as the undershirt that he's wearing, so it kind of looks nice. I really like the way this is looking so far. And I'm going to continue to come in, and that was the same marker. It just has a chisel tip, and then it has a fine tip. So whenever I have to do fine details, I just flip it over and use that side. And if you see the shadows in the video, it's because I'm reaching for other markers. Anyway, we'll come back to that one later. Let's move on to Rogue. Rogue was an interesting character to draw. I have a hard time drawing characters with their faces turned up. In other words, where their chin and the underside of their chin, that kind of flat plane that is underneath your chin, where that is exposed to the camera. I have a very difficult time with that, so I thought this one came out okay. It's not great, it's not bad, but I'm definitely practicing that and trying to get better at it to make sure that I understand how the planes of the face all fit together on different sizes, different shapes, and different angles. Now for this one, I'm starting a little bit differently. I'm starting with the background, and I want to match all my colors on Rogue to the color of the background. This way it creates an organic color palette that makes sense for the drawing. So you can kind of see me there. I threw down a very dark matte brown. And now I'm going to come in with Rogue and start filling her out in terms of what colors she's on. I know the basic color palette that she has. She has a brown jacket. I think she has brown hair, or yeah, I think it's brown hair. And she has a white streak in her hair from the time that she attacked Magneto, if I remember correctly. And then her color palette for her, I guess, jumpsuit or one-piece suit is yellow and green. So I'm going to be coming in with that too. And the X-Men logo, I always like to draw it red, just because it makes sense to me. So that's what I do. So I'm going to come in with the hair here. Sorry for that tiny little break you saw there. I think I was loading a new video. While I draw, I like to watch different videos and kind of either learn something or watch something about some upcoming movie or a review or some art video. I don't know, anything, just to keep myself more than on one task. Now, you can kind of see me here working on the jacket, and I'm trying to be as careful as possible. I don't want to overstep with the dark browns because the yellows and the greens will pick it up and it will smudge it everywhere, so I'm very careful not to overstep there. And I decided, usually she wears her jacket closed, open, but I decided to make it closed just to distinguish that this is my version of Rogue and not someone else's. I also don't like the over-sexualized gigantic boobs Rogue. That's not real. That's not really possible. So I don't like to do that. So this kind of nicely tucks those things away and leaves something to the imagination, but also is consistent with Rogue's character, consistent with her outfit, and consistent with her color palette. Now you can't just have one color one time on an outfit. I find that is usually a waste of a color. So the same browns I used for the jacket, I used for the belt. She wears, I think, just a loose belt for no reason other than to have a belt because it was the 90s. But I like to repeat the motif, even the color motif. As for her lips, threw down a nice rich red there. And I'm going to come in first with the greens, the accent colors. And then I'm going to go back and do the yellows, which is the main color. This is so that I can draw the yellow on top, and if it smears into the green, it's no big deal. But if the green smears into the yellow after I've put it down, it's much harder to fix. I wasn't sure exactly what her outfit looked like, so I decided to give her these weird patterns on her legs with this green. Of course, I always come in with a dark green, and then I come back with a lighter green. And you can kind of see that this transition worked a lot better than the one on Boba Fett, so I was very happy with that. You can kind of see me there tossing all my markers on the side and arranging this, making sure that it looks nice. Now I'm going to come in with a nice red to mirror what is on her lips. I throw it down on the X-Men logo. And then I come in with a dark yellow, almost an orange. I think this is like a golden yellow. And that'll be my shadow or hard shadow layer. And then I'll come in with a much lighter yellow afterwards. Having finished this drawing, this finishes my sketchbook, my tone tan sketchbook. So the next sketchbook that I'll be using is a, I don't know the dimensions, but it's a wide piece of paper, and it's white paper, and it absorbs the markers very well. It doesn't really hold up well with watercolor, but I've already tested it. I've already drawn a few pages into it. So I decided I always like to test things when I buy a new sketchbook, just to make sure that I understand the type of surface, how it holds up with different mediums, and what those things look like. For example, on a tone tan Strathmore sketchbook like this one, it's very hard to use skin tones because they come out much darker than you would expect. But on a white piece of paper, the skin tones look really, really nice. So just keeping that in mind as I go forward and draw. Now here you can kind of see me coming in with the jelly roller. I don't really show this for the Boba Fett video, but as you saw on her hair, I decided to come in with thick amounts of ink and then kind of smudge it with my finger to give it that look of a white streak on brown. And now I'm coming in and just kind of adding all that into the drawing, making sure that I have nice reflective surfaces and that you can tell when the jacket ends and when the underside begins. And just kind of finishing out this drawing. I had fun doing these two colorings. I like this kind of video format. I don't know if you guys like it, but we can always try stuff differently next time. And we're nearing the end of the drawing here, and I'll just add my signature and show you guys both of them off camera. Alright, so let's take a look at that final drawing. Here's the final Boba Fett drawing with some jelly roller on it and everything. I love it. I think it looks cool, and I'm very happy with it. And here's the final Rogue drawing. The camera didn't really pick it up well, but overall, I'm happy with it too. So, thank you. Thanks for watching the video. if you want, you can check out the last video I posted in the link below. There's also Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy links provided here for you to check out and hopefully see some stuff you like. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.